Everyone thinks a laundromat is passive income, but the listings prove they sell at 3.5 times inflated earnings. 2 boring machine routes beat that math, and the bigger one comes last. Here's who gets burned. Buyers see passive income and skip the actual profit and loss statement, so they hand over a 5 or 6 figure down payment for a machine business that's slowly shrinking. This isn't a don't invest video. It's a pick a better boring business video. Same money, same effort, sturdier cash flow. First problem, the price tag. Most small businesses change hands at 2 to 2.5 times their yearly earnings. Laundromats routinely ask 3.5 times. Same dollar of profit, 40% more to buy it. Why the gap? Sellers dress up the earnings. They quote a number that assumes you, the owner, do 0 hours of work, an owner-absent projection, and they conveniently forget the machines wearing out in the background. Watch how fast this inflates. A seller claims $70,000 in earnings. Slap on that 3.5 times multiple, and the asking price becomes about $245,000. But dig in and the real, owner-run number is thinner, and a chunk of those machines are near the end of their life. You're not paying $245,000 for $70,000 of profit. You're paying $245,000 for a story about $70,000 of profit. That's the trap. The multiple isn't high because laundromats are great businesses. It's high because the passive income pitch lets sellers charge a premium the numbers don't support. Ask yourself, would you pay 3.5 times for anything else that quietly falls apart? Everyone else on the market sells for less, earning the same money. That's your first red flag, and it points straight at the fix. Now the part the listing hides, the repair bill you can't see coming. Commercial washers and dryers last 10 to 15 years, then they die. Replacing one runs $1,000 to $5,000 plus, and you don't replace one. A whole bank ages out together. So the year that bill lands, your profit gets swallowed whole. Then there's the ground under your feet, which you don't own. You rent it. The landlord can raise the rent, or a developer can buy the block and put up condos, and your business ends on someone else's schedule. A location you don't control is a business you don't control. And passive, ask any operator. Coin and card readers jam. Machines get vandalized. The water and power bills spike in a heat wave and eat the margin you were counting on. One operator told a trade forum that utilities alone can swing a good month into a flat one. So you've got a rich price, gear on a countdown, a lease you don't hold, and a utility meter that runs whether customers show or not. That's 3 separate ways to lose, stacked on top of overpaying. Here's the good news, because the next 2 businesses fix exactly these holes. Same idea, machines that make money without the anchor bolted to the floor. Let's move. Route number 1. Buy a vending, a TM or coin machine service route. Instead of one building full of machines you can't move, you buy a spread of small machines placed in stores, gyms, and lobbies, and you own where they sit. Here's why that beats a laundromat right now. When a laundromat location goes bad, you're stuck. The machines are bolted in and the lease traps you. When a vending machine underperforms, you unbolt it and roll it to a busier spot on Tuesday. A bad site becomes a relocation, not a total loss. Same machines, better address, cash flowing again. The numbers are friendlier too. These routes often trade at 2 to 3 times earnings, not 3.5 times, and there's no real estate lease tying you down. You buy proven monthly cash flow. The collections are already happening, and your job is moving the slow machines to better spots. Operators who run vending routes typically report a few $100s a month per well-placed machine, though restocking gas, product cost, and the occasional theft comes straight out of that. The catch is honest, it's a driving job. You're the one restocking and collecting, at least early on, and a poorly placed machine still earns nothing until you move it. First step, pull the seller's collection logs and check which machines actually earn. That tells you what you're really buying, and it sets up an even sturdier route next. Route number 2 goes 1 level sturdier. Buy a commercial service route with contracts. Think water treatment refills for offices, uniform and linen delivery for restaurants, or bulk vending restock for retailers. The move is simple. Buy the route where customers sign an agreement, not one that lives on walk-in coin traffic. Here's why contracts change everything. A laundromat earns only if a stranger walks in with quarters today. A contracted route earns because a business agreed to a standing delivery, and switching to a competitor is a hassle they'd rather avoid. That stickiness is the whole point. Recurring revenue that survives a slow week because it's promised in writing, not hoping for foot traffic. Your equipment story is calmer too. Instead of a room of $4,000 machines, all aging toward the same replacement year, your main assets are a truck and inventory you add gradually as accounts grow. You scale when the revenue justifies it, not in one terrifying capital hit. Operators in linen and water service routes typically report recurring monthly revenue per account, though the trucks, fuel, insurance, and the labor to run deliveries take a real bite before anything's left. The catch? It's more relationship work than vending. You're servicing contracts and keeping clients happy, not just refilling snacks. First step, ask the seller for the contract list and how long the average account has stayed. Long tenure is the tell that the revenue is real. And that verification question is the hinge of the whole decision. So line them up side by side. A laundromat, 3.5 times earnings, real estate risk you don't control, and lumpy repair bills that land all at once. The two routes, 2 to 3 times earnings, machines and trucks you can move, and revenue that either relocates or renews. Same money in, sturdier money back. Here's the decision rule, and it's the whole video in one line. Pay for durable, movable cash flow. Don't pay a 3.5 times premium for a story. And before you wire $1 for either route, verify exactly 3 things. 1. The real trailing earnings. What it actually made last year with an owner working, not a rosy projection. 2. The age of every machine or truck, so you know which repair bill is already due. 3. And this is the one that separates a real business from a fragile one. Does the revenue survive the owner leaving? If the money only shows up when the current owner is there, you're buying a job, not a business. Those 3 checks are your first move today. Bottom line, laundromats ask 3.5 times for a machine business bolted to the floor, and 2 route businesses beat them on price, mobility, and revenue you can count on. The hard part is finding a route deal whose numbers hold up. Subscribe, and the next video walks the exact sourcing checklist. This is analysis, not financial advice.